Now on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us right now, the 1992 Heisman Trophy winner, now a broadcaster doing college football nationally. It's Gino Torretta. How you doing, Gino?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you very much for coming on with us. I want to talk to you, obviously, about the ball game you're going to be doing this weekend with South Carolina and Georgia. But first, I want to get your impressions on the performance that Geno Smith had for West Virginia against Baylor over this past weekend.
I think anything other than wow is an understatement. I think that the past few weeks he's been lights out. And doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and I think it's a credit to the other 10 guys on offense around him too. His receivers are making plays for him, and the offensive line has protected very well.
Now, he put up such yardage against a really poor defense in Baylor. Does that make this thing a little bit hollow?
Well, I don't think so. I think the reason there's an opportunity to score that many points or get that many yards is, both these teams, they like running fast break offense. They want to snap the ball 100 times. Well, if your offense is doing that, then your defense is out there a lot, and that played to Baylor's, obviously, their game plan as well, because offensively they like to run as many plays as West Virginia. So I don't think of that. I think that as the season progresses and as West Virginia gets through the season, I think what's going to happen is you have to be the complete team. You have to be able to maybe not score 70 points, and you have to be able to win the game. So I think it'll all come to pass. I think it's just a situation where it's a perfect storm. Both offenses like running a lot of plays, and it wears your defenses out.
Do you like that kind of game?
As a quarterback, heck yeah! If you can throw it as much as they did, I mean, I think the question, at least when I played, to put up a lot of points, you had to face a defense that was going to blitz you and take their chances, and normally meant that you're getting hit in the mouth more times than you want to. But no, I like it when the ball's in the air.
Well, it was definitely in the air. I'm real intrigued as to how he's going to do against a better team on the road in Austin against Texas. Texas defense is not lights out, but they're certainly better than Baylor's right now. How do you see that game coming out?
Well, I think you're right, but I think it's going to be a different style of game. I mean, they're not going to need to score 70 to win, nor would they score 70 to win, because Texas, they don't run as quick a pace as Baylor does. But it'll be a tough test. I mean, it's a road game. I mean, Texas, the Texas fans they're amped up. They're not really sure if their team or their program is back to where they've been in the past, but this would definitely put Texas back on the map. So you can bet both these programs are going to be amped up this weekend.
Have you had a chance to see Texas A&M's quarterback, Johnny Manziel?
I did. I did the Texas A&M Arkansas game, unfortunately, this weekend. So, you know what? And obviously Geno Smith's getting all the attention. Baylor's quarterback, Stephen Morris down here, he's getting the attention. But I tell you what, watching that performance, what did he throw for 5 1/4, and he also ran for 120 yards. Great performance. I mean, it was all the way around. Good athlete, nice velocity on the ball, accurate passer. And and I can see why Will Muschamp says, I'm glad we don't want to play Texas A&M very much in the SEC the next few years.
How do you see him doing later on down the line against the better teams, against the Alabamas, the LSUs, and so forth?
I think the question is how is his team going to protect him? Mm-hmm. I think that Arkansas, or the train wreck or whatever you want to call it that they're calling Arkansas right now, I think that their defensive line was probably the worst performance I've ever seen. I mean, I said during the game, I don't think Arkansas's defensive line knows Manziel wears number 2 because they've never even seen him today. So, I think that's what it comes down to is, can Texas A&M protect Johnny? Can A&M run the ball, be balanced, and not be into those predictable passing situations? Because those programs, they have some stud defensive linemen, the LSUs and the Bamas of the world, and you need your protection.
This weekend, the SEC starts to eat itself. You got Georgia, South Carolina, and you got LSU playing Florida. I know you're doing the Georgia-South Carolina game this weekend. What are you expecting out of that ball game?
It should be interesting. We saw the South Carolina play Vandy the first week, and kind of a really lackluster performance. And if Connor Shaw hadn't come back in even injured, I thought they were going to lose that game. But they seem to have caught a little second wind and at right timing, because this is their October stretch of games is absolutely brutal. But I think it's going to come down to, you got two quarterbacks. They can both make the plays. Murray can make some plays. Georgia, is there going to be a letdown? Are they coming off that tough game against Tennessee? Is there going to be a little letdown? And then, South Carolina had a tough 2 quarters and a half against Kentucky, but they prevailed. So it's going to be interesting to see, because this is the stretch. Everybody's saying Georgia has got the easy road to the SEC East title, and South Carolina's October is too tough. And this is the start of October, and this is a great one.
Yeah, and you're going to see, again, with Connor Shaw, he's been a surprise. Aaron Murray, he's the real deal. I mean, this guy's as good as anybody in the country.
I don't think there's any question. I've liked him since he was a true freshman, came in, throws a nice ball, and good velocity, good enough athlete to scramble around and make plays. And I think with the way that these offenses are performing nowadays, it's going to be the defense that makes one stop or forces a turnover and is going to win this game.
And then you speak of defense, and you're going to see a couple of great ones with Florida and LSU this weekend. You got any feel for how that game's going to come out?
I really liked LSU. We did the Florida-Kentucky game, and Florida kind of lackluster. I don't know if Florida played kind of down to Kentucky's performance, because it wasn't very good. LSU, they seem to have all the pieces of the puzzle together. They seem to have, Mettenberger, they're high on him at quarterback and what he can do and what he can bring to their offense. They've struggled a little bit, though, in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I would have said earlier in the season, I would have thought this would have been a blowout game, but I think this is really the true test. This is where the contenders and the pretenders are separated, and I think for Florida and LSU, it's going to be, is Florida back to where they were, and is LSU back to where they were just last season?
Oh, man. And one last thing, in your mind right now, who do you believe is the number one team in the country, and who do you think that team would play in a championship game right now, knowing what you know?
Well, personally, the team that won the national championship last year is still undefeated. Yep. So I think that you have to say that they're that Alabama's the number one team. I think there's a couple programs that I think that could compete for the title. I think Florida State's shown they can score points and compete. I think Oregon, can they get through the Pac-12 and make it through there? I think they have the speed to compete with anybody in the country. And then I think it's kind of last man standing, whoever that's going to be, if that's going to be Alabama or somebody else in the SEC.
Always that way. Hey, Gino, we really do appreciate it. Hope you have a great time with your ball game this weekend, and thanks very much for coming on with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good talking to you. Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live on 99.3 Talk FM.